I thought, I guess, hopefully mostly last night, running through it. So I thought I'd just walk through the rolling chassis. Probably one of the best examples we can show what the Super Duty is. Like Justin said, you take your body off, this is where the bulk of the change is. Almost everything you see here is new for Super Duty. I'd say there's maybe one or two components which are carry over from the Ranger. So starting from the front here, specifically designed this steel frame mounted bumper. We want it to be frame mounted to get that rigidity, also gets that ground clearance so you can keep that off-road capability. You won't see here, we haven't got the cover over it, but they've got these mounting points all along here so you can straight away upfit spotlights, bars, aerial, sand flags, things like that are ready to go on this bumper. So you don't need the full whips of a full bar, this one's ready to go with all the built-in safety features and everything as well. I guess point out that the bash plates, we've got a couple of bash plates missing off here, but from the front here the bash plates go all the way through. So normally we've got our front bash plate here, right up to our transfer case, and then there's another one here for transfer case, and here's a big over 4mm steel bash plate here for the fuel tank. So I don't think I weigh 1 GVM of a Super Duty, so this should hold me alright. But yeah, right through underneath we make sure everything is fully protected. You can even see from the mirrors there a few scrapes and bashes that fuel tank bash plate's got over the testing of this meal that we had. And then I guess working our way back from the front steel, we've got new steering rack, so upgauge steering rack for the heavier loads. Obviously 4.5 tonne of GVM sitting on these wheels, bigger loads coming through the steering rack, so upgauge steering rack. Front diff, which we can't see here, based off the Bronco Raptor, upgauge steel, using high strength steel in there again. A lot of the drivetrain from there is all upgauge because of the torque you get, so that slip torque you get coming through the wheels. When you've got 4.5 tonne of GVM, the momentum torque you need to overcome that, you get a lot of torque going through the whole driveline system. So everything, front axle, prop shafts, even transfer case. Unfortunately not here, would have loved to have had it here, it's huge. Transfer case sits in here. That's all new for Super Duty as well. Single piece drive shaft back to our jumbo axle, all that is all new to take that additional torque load you get coming through such a big vehicle. Okay, try to get out here without falling over. Wheels as well, as mentioned, so full 33-inch all-terrain tyres. Just wanting to get that capability package in as much as we could into the vehicle, and they're sitting on the 18-inch steel wheels. As we mentioned, that's probably one of the first decisions made on the program when I started was steel or alloy, and it just came back to customer feedback. Said steel is what they wanted, and they said steel wheels, you hit it, you ding it, you can get it back into shape. And I know guys off-road have literally done that, picked up a rock, bashed the wheel back into shape, hit it up and kept going. So that's why they wanted the steel wheels. So that was one of our critical ones. And 18-inch rims as well. That was just a package 18-inch disc brakes. So 18-inch disc brakes all round. When you've got 8 tonne GCM, you need to pull that up. So one of the big brakes we put in there. So that's why I went with the 18-inch rims, package all that brake in there and get that heat dissipation. And then I'd say bias, I've said to a few as a chassis engineering background, but probably my favourite part of the car, the lower control arm. It is just huge. I think you look at any other control arm on any other vehicle around, you just see the sheer size of that thing. It is absolutely massive. And that's just, again, getting that track width. We wanted that increased track width because we've increased the height of the vehicle. Like just said, we always regrid. If we go up, we go out. We want to keep that dynamics, keep that balance. So it's just something we always do. So we haven't done that with offsets or anything. We've done that with the arms. So it's been done with the upper control arm, lower control arm, ordinary knuckle, and then in that we do have the 250 hub on the front, getting that 8-stud hub. Again, steel wheels, needed the 8 studs. Get that clamping load that we need to meet all our requirements is why we went with the 8 studs. So I borrowed that off the 250s from the States, that front hub there. Okay, and then I guess all of that obviously bolted to the frame. So I think it's about 6% of the frame is carryover. I think it's maybe back in there. It's one of those. Is carryover. The rest of it is all new for the Super Duty. So it's been upgauge section, thicker sections, longer sections, more reinforcements in the frame, the cross members, the K-brace, all that has been upgraded and reinforced to take these loads. One part we haven't got here is the engine mounts, but I just know that was a huge one as well. The engine mounts are loads you get coming from 4.5 tonne of GVM, you get up to 7 times more load than a Ranger coming in through the frame and engine mount. So just that's it's an exponential increase in loads. That's why everything has been upgauged along here. So, and I think as I may have heard me say before, it's not just springs and shocks to get our GVM. We've literally done the whole underside of the car here. So working our way back, 130 litre fuel tank. This was another one, not an easy thing to change, not a small thing to change, but was critical to the program for to keep this in to make sure we could get every litre we could out of there. We just know talking to fleets and customers, the longer they can stay out in the field, the more they can get done, the less trips they need to do back to base. So your 130 litre fuel tank was just one of our critical to get in packaged, and it's squeezed every inch of space we could from under the vehicle to get in there. Also meant putting a new that new cross member in to balance that tank further out. Just with the weight of that whole shield underneath is just huge. So managing that to get every bit of fuel we could into this car to go the long haul. And then keep going back, so getting towards the back end here, the jumbo axle, as we said, so it's based off the Transit axle, but it's pretty much been redesigned. So we get it from the Transit family with the 8-star hub is what we wanted, but then the tubes are up-gauged, internal steels are up-gauged, and all new steel and drive line for the locking diff, which I can't remember if I mentioned the front there, obviously front locking diff as well, so front and rear locking diffs. As I said, it feels like a cheat code off-road when you've got both of those. It's amazing where you can go when you just lock both of those up. And another thing, very niche circumstance, but one of our operators was really excited to know that you could get front locking only, so you can run the front locker independent of the rear. So in a situation where you want to pull out, you don't want that back end pulling out, you can have just the front lock. So again, just little things like that, being able to tweak into it to make sure it operates that way. Sitting on top, obviously, is the rear. I think this is probably the one carrier component on the car from the Ranger, so that's a AdBlue tank there. Obviously, being a heavy-duty Stage 6 truck now, there's just diesel, you can't get away with that without the AdBlue, so we've got that in there up the top, packaged nice and high and safe out of the way to keep it clear of all the components. The thing I always forget, I remember. So this thing sitting up on top here, that's actually the diff breather. So obviously all the breathers, all electronics, everything's sitting up above that 850 weight in depth. So that one, when you fit a tray, that comes up, you'll see it on the one over here, it's attached to your rear filler. So it sits up nice and high, so your breathers are all sitting up nice and high to make sure your water weighting's got to be good. So obviously you saw some of the pictures last night, the water weighting we did, keeps all that out. I was going to say 850 sounds like that. When you actually get in 850 ml of water, you're probably starting to get pretty pain. If anything above that, you're going to be, even 4.5 tonne, you'll start floating eventually. So yeah, 850 is plenty of weighting depth for it. And I guess working our way back, the leaf springs as well, obviously we've lengthened those, really stretched them out longer. A lot of advantages there. It's great for the dynamics, it spreads the loads coming through. Also gives you more articulation and travel as well, so improved our off-road handling as well. And obviously the leaf spring specifically designed to handle the load. And it was one of the first bits of feedback I gave when I did a long distance drive up to Queensland to do some testing with a fleet customer. Just the dynamics team, the way they tune these was just amazing. The way it can handle laden, unladen, I wasn't expecting it to be that good myself. And so you've got different spring rates in here, and obviously a helper spring at the end. So as you load up, you just get those different dynamic rates in the springs to keep that performance and handling that you need to just keep things safe and comfortable along the way. And then towards the back end here, obviously you've got the tow bar, so 4.5 tonne of tow integrated into the frame there with the tow hooks mounted on the back here. We don't have the front ones on this mule, but obviously all the others come standard with the tow hooks. Like we said, make sure these were forged, got the cast-in radius edges and everything to make sure you can fit your soft shackles, not tearing shackles, not destroying your equipment. So again, just from having that experience off-road. And the DAT bar, so what we call our driver assist technology bar at the back here. Something I guess we weren't sure about, obviously it's kind of a higher end feature having all these safety features. It was something I learned very early on in the program from talking to a lot of the fleets. I guess generally we kind of think fleet want the cheapest thing they can get, but what we found was the fleets wanted the safest thing they could get that's going to give them the most uptime. So I said if we've got sensors, there's less chance someone backing into something, hitting something, means the car's going to be on the road working is what they want. So that bar was really critical to a lot of those fleets to get your bliss sensors, reverse park sensors, camera, and then the last one on the back here is the Pro trailer as well. So you've got a yaw rate sensor that goes in your trailer, so you can use that dial in the centre there to back up trailers, which again wasn't something fleets would want. They said not all their people are great at backing trailers, so the simpler we can make it, the less chance there is of being an accident. So that's why I had to have that content feature in the vehicle. So I think that's my extremely quick rundown of the underside there. So I'm not sure if I've missed anything or anything I want to cover up. Looks pretty good.
No, I mean, you'll see in the actual vehicles there's a couple other things. So with the onboard scales, there's ride height sensors that you'll see. So these aren't on this model, but you can see them when we go into there, or you can see them on the back of the vehicle, and one of us can point them out to you if you want to see how the onboard scales work. And then we've also got, so the DAT bar obviously sits where it sits. One of the things we did when we were doing a lot of off-road testing is we damaged early ones because we just had it like this. So we had developed underrun protection bars, so it basically doesn't impact your departure angle, it just protects the bar from any kind of damage and step off. So yeah, if you drop off onto a rock on one side, like if you're on a weird cross axle, you can drop off one side and hit that. So we wanted to have an underrun bar. So that effectively mounts off this plate, is pretty solid, or very solid, and comes up and sort of sits underneath there to protect your DAP bar and all your technology in there. Because we just don't want customers damaging that off-road. It creates a problem that you don't need to have, so we protected it from that.
And I guess that's it. The DAP bar as well is specifically designed. Like it's just there's like these little chins and that. That's all deliberately designed so that when you fit a tray, you can fit tray, canopy, whatever you want to fit to that. Those sensors are still going to work. So it's like being tuned to make sure you can just leave the bar how it is, fit whatever tray you want, sits under there, and it's going to work straight away.
All right.
Cool.
So next thing we'll be walking through here. So if you want to come through.